You know what? Sometimes you YouTube viewers really tick me off. You know what I've got to say about that? Fork you. Let's get them to bits. These will still be full of oil too. I'm hoping I can get another couple of stactions for these. So far, you can get them ground and re-chromed, but the cost is prohibitive. You can get stactions for, you know, a couple $100. That's a 10mm, by the way. You'd think I'd know by now. Okay guys, I've consulted the manual and I've got to tell you I'm still a bit perplexed as to how to get the staction out. It's being held in by the damper rod. I can't really, just in the manual it says unscrew this, hold the staction in the vise and it'll come out, but that's not what happened. Got to get a bit of a look down in there and see how it works. That whole thing is turning in there. That's why it's not coming out. It's interesting. And it's not as though it locks in anywhere in either end to get it out. Alright, after some considerable faffing around, I've got this tool. It's got to go down inside the fork, grip hold of the damper rod. This is what I believe. It doesn't actually say in the manual. Here's a manual here. It just shows you pulling out the fork rod, and it really doesn't explain that it's a little bit different to what I'm looking at here. Because this one's got a circlip internally and the XT hasn't, so I don't know. There's a few differences, which is a bit of a worry when it comes to trying to get some stactions for it. But anyways, we need extension. That goes down in there. Then we need yay! Success! So when you think it's going to be easy, it never is it? Wow, look at the wear on the bottom of the fork tube there. Yeesh. Alright, how does that? Alright, so you need a special tool to get it out. That one there, that's available from the same place that I got most of the XT parts from anyway. Very handy. Now what holds that in there? circlip. Movies. Got it, in other words. There we go. One stripped section. I wonder how much wear there is in the bottom of that fork tube, because that must actually run. Yeah. Anyway, we won't worry about that for the moment. There we go, we'll drop that into there. Alright, let's get the other one to bits. I'm just going to try the slide hammer on these bearings. There's not much to grip on in there, I tell you. No. Oh, a bit of grip on that side, perhaps. There we go. One slider bearing. I might be able to cut it with that. Maybe, I don't know. Wowzers. Okay, there's a couple of minor scuff marks in there. Yeah, there's a little, I've just done a very little, couple of little marks in there. They'll just polish out, and then when I've got all these cleaned up, I can just press those new seals in. Won't be a problem. Back in the shed again, guys. Got the fork tubes back from the rechromers, because these were in a pretty sad and sorry state. One of the fork tube seals had completely let go, and unfortunately the fork had got quite a lot of water in it, and the bottom of the fork control rod had got quite a bit of rust on it around here. There's a fair bit of, a few scratch marks and that on there and around the seal. It's not a race bike. It is going to make a little bit of difference to the dampening effect on one side, but I'll just run a slightly heavier oil in both shocks, and that'll compensate for the wear. It'll still work fine for the purposes of, you know, just riding it in rallies or down to the cafe for a coffee, whatever use it's going to get. You know, it's not going to get raced or not that anymore. So a little bit of rust and a little bit of wear in the bottom of the fork tube's not going to make any difference. Anyway, back to the unwrapping, back to the important stuff. It's well wrapped. Come on, where's the end? Oh, it's tempting just to take a knife to it, isn't it? Ooh, no. And the other one, of course, is already unwrapped. Right, we'll just go and give this a wash and a blow. We'll just make sure there's no chroming residual left in there. They've been really nicely finished. There's some mob up in Perth that did these for me. They do industrial rechroming of hydraulic cylinders and the like, but they also do a few motorbike shocks when they've got time. They look good. So here's the fork bottoms. I bead blasted them, gave them a polish on the wheel. Control rods are there, and a whole box of bits and pieces. Just making sure there's no burr around there. Pretty sure there isn't, they look alright. Can't remember which one I put in there now. Ooh. It's a bit tight. Oops. Must be a couple of thou hundredths of a mil. There's a slight difference in the machining of those two. Not very much, I would imagine. Just got to pick the two that fit the best together. Oh, let's tight up that end, eh? Right at the top of that stroke. Oh yeah, I think that's the better one. Alright. Those two have got to go together. Not the hydraulic press, the human press. Too easy. Damper rods, and the spring, circlips, the spring spacers for the top, almost lost the little sealing ring there. That would have been disaster. Right, so that spring there, that's for when the shock goes to full extension. Gives you a bit of rebound when the front wheel comes off the ground. And this part here, and this part, forms that hydraulic anti-bottom out system. So what happens is when the fork... Right, we're back on the air, guys. I've got issues with my camera in 4K mode, it's overheating. It's another hot day. It's like Australia's had 3 or 4 of the hottest days on record. So yeah, we're struggling all right. So we've got one fork leg fully reassembled. And we'll just show you the other one now the camera's cooled down. So the damper rod goes up the middle first. Chuck a little bit of oil on there. It goes up the middle of the fork tube, like so. spacer goes in. Now this is the one that's got a mesh with that to give you the hydraulic dampening to stop the fork bottoming out. That all locks in there, or not. What am I doing wrong? Why are we not going in? Ah, haha. Haven't got the fork tube in far enough. Okay. Now we'll just check us around the right way. Yep. And there's a circlip that holds it all together. We'll make sure it's not going to destroying everywhere. That's the technical term for when a circlip goes walkabout, destroying, followed by a lot of swearing. Alright, that's looking good. It goes on there like that. And that whole assembly slides into the fork leg. I'll just put some grease around the seal. A bit of extra lube until it gets full of oil and everything. I'm just going to run a little bit of oil on this because this one's a bit tighter than the other one. The seal's going to wipe most of that off anyway. Now, we've got the special tool that engages with the end of the fork rod so we can tighten the bolt up. There's nothing to it really. We'll put the bolt in there, that always helps. There we go. Spring in. Oh, small end down. Spring cap. Spring spacer. Now I've still got to fill them up with oil obviously, so I'm just going to put this on to stop dust and dirt getting in there for the time being. Alright, there we go. Slide the dust cap over there. There we go. Two reconditioned fork legs, ready to go back in the bike.